Today we're going to install the Pace Edwards bed locker on this 2019 Ram New Body Style 1500. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we pull the canister out of the box, we take the wooden end caps off, those are just in there for shipping purposes. Then we set the box inside the bed of the truck and then set the canister on top of the box. That way the canister is up high enough where the rails can go on easily. Now we're going to go to our rails. Before we can lubricate the rails, we need to find our canister cover, open that up, and pull out this lubricant packet. All right, open up our packet, pull out our towelette, and now we're going to run it inside the rail. We're going to lubricate the bottom of the top seal and then the top of the wear strip inside the channel. And next we're going to pull off the white paper that protects the seals. All right, so first we're going to go ahead and pull the canister partially out. Next we're going to find our driver's side rail. Now this rail has got an opening at the front end of the rail. What we're going to look for is we got a notch on the edge of the rail that's going to slide inside this groove on the inside. On the opposite side of that rail, there's another notch that goes to the track on the other side. So first what we need to do is run the blanket into the channel. Once we have that lined up, that's going to slide in. And next we line everything up. Now this is a precision fit, so everything has to line up perfectly in order for it to slide in. Now we can go ahead and lift up the canister so we can pull the box out. Then we can rest the rails on your bed caps, slide it all the way forward up to the bulkhead. All right, now we're going to gently close the tailgate. Make sure we have a 1/8 inch gap in between the edge of the tailgate and the inside of the rail, and then we can go ahead and set the clamps. All right, so this is how the clamp assembly works. This is our clamp that's going to go on first. We've got grooves cut into the clamp on each side, and then there's notches on either side of the rail right in front of our shim plate. Now there's a cutout in one side of the notches up here. What we're going to do is we're going to find that location, lock that into the rail, and then slide it all the way back to our shim plate. Next we can go ahead and get our other clamp half. We're going to have a semicircle cutout here that's going to slide right into our clamp like so and lock those into place. Once that's in place, we can go ahead and find our clamp screw. We're going to attach a lock washer and a flat washer. We're going to go through there, and on the back side we're going to use this barrel nut and line our bolt up to the barrel nut, and we're just going to get it kind of somewhat snug for right now. Now this is our kickstand assembly. Kickstand assembly is only needed on the rear clamps. On the front clamps you can skip this step and just snug up the clamp. For the rear clamp, what we're going to do is install this onto the rear clamp. Now this on the Ram is going to be backwards from where it needs to be. This is the same kickstand assembly as used in every application. So we're going to take off that rubber cap. We're going to back it all the way out. Now we're going to rotate this 180 degrees and run the kickstand back through. This way our kickstand will be short enough to install into the Ram. Once that's in place, we can go ahead and put our rubber cap back on. And I'm just going to go ahead and run this all the way to the end of the bracket. Now we go to this side, take off the wing nut, and we're going to run that through the clamp just like so and rotate it over. We're going to take our flat washer, our lock washer, and our wing nut and put that in place. We're not even going to snug it up all the way just yet. We're just going to get to where it attaches. That way we can line up our kickstand and start rotating it towards the bed of the truck. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our clamp. This draws the bed cap, or this draws our rail down to the bed cap and nice and snug. Now what we do is we rotate our kickstand until it levels out our rail. We want our rail to be nice and level. Once the rail is level, we can go ahead and tighten down the kickstand. Repeat this on all 4 clamps. Kickstand is only necessary on the rear. Next, we're going to go ahead and install our canister cover. Now, the canister cover is going to have a hole that's offset to one side. That's going to be going towards the cab of the truck. In the canister, you're going to have a notch that has a sleeve that slides back and forth. You're going to line up that hole with that threaded sleeve and then run one of your bolts down into that hole. You can do that on both sides. First, what we want to do is line up the holes and get the bolts started. As we tighten them down, we want to make sure we line up the edge of the canister cover with the end of the rail. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and run my wire harness. What we got to do on the ram, typically right behind this area here, there is a plastic kick out. If I did not have the bed rug, you'd be able to see it. What I did is I popped up underneath the bed, saw where the kick out was, I popped it in place, and then I made a little cut in the bed rug so I can run my wire harness through that area. Now I'm going to run the wire harness down along the frame of the truck, tying it off, and I'm going to keep it away from things like the drive shaft and anything hot like exhaust. I'm going to run it up to the battery and tie it into the positive and negative terminals. All right, now we're going to go ahead and plug our harness into our power cable that comes out of the canister, and then we're going to tuck that out of the way. Once we do that, we can go ahead and install our drain tube. We run the drain tube out the bed of the truck on one end, and the other end snaps into the canister. Do that on both sides. Now we can go ahead and take our key fobs out and test the operation of the cover. Okay, once the cover closes all the way to the tailgate, we can then shift the cover from side to side within the rails and see how much play we have. Because of tolerances in these bed caps on these trucks, sometimes you have to use the included white spacer shims. If there is more than a 1/4 inch movement from side to side, then you'll want to take off your clamps, install the spacer shims in between the shim bracket and the bed cap, and reinstall the clamps. And that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.